right, Wolfpack Nation, we are back for part 2, y'all, and our final part season preview for the 2023 football regular season, y'all. As once again, we have Will, Great Day Tar Heel, back here with us for part 2, y'all, to break down this UNC game. If you haven't checked out part 1 yet, make sure to go and check that out first and foremost, where we talk a lot about legacy of Drake May, which we'll talk even a little bit more about here, mostly talking about the defense and even a little bit of Mac Brown as well. Which Will, I never did kind of get a definitive answer. So in your opinion, do you think Mac Brown will be the head coach of the UNC Tar Heels next season?
I think he'll be back next year.
Okay.
70% confidence.
Let's put, like, in my opinion, with how much Mac Brown's been involved with UNC, you know, I don't see them pushing him out. I see them like I don't see them firing him. Let's put it that way. I see them.
He'd retire.
Yeah, like he'll go out on his own notes. Now, I mean, they may say we decided mutually to move on, but they're not going to say we got rid of him. Like
never.
It's going to be
that won't be the narrative.
Yeah, no, it's not going to be that. So, because I mean, again, like he has brought a lot of attention to the program for sure. I mean, again, he's
goodwill,
phenomenal recruiting, no doubt about it. Being a lot of excitement. To UNC, some huge wins for sure. But again, it's interesting thing with Mac. Because I don't even know that much about him, about his first tenure with UNC. Did he win AC title during his first tenure?
No, UNC's last was 1 year before State's last, so it's been a long time for both of us.
Yeah, interesting. That's good. That's a good little interesting tidbit there.
Yep.
Yeah.
The only difference is they've won in other sports.
He's had I think they had one loss in '97. They lost to Florida State.
Yeah, he had a couple back-to-back 10-win seasons, I think. So
yep.
I mean, he was successful in his first stint, but no championship.
Just not against State.
Right. Yeah, I think he was close to 500. He started. I think he lost his first 5 and won his last 5 or something like that.
Gotcha. Yeah. But so kind of switching over here too, talking about the offense. Obviously, one of the biggest piece of news going into this season and even during the season as well was the news about Tez Walker, which it's crazy enough that this guy, he came in game 4 for UNC. Game 5, and he leads UNC in receiving yards right now, 670, and then second is JJ Jones at 596. And so it just kind of makes you head scratch once again that between Tez Walker, between Amarian Hampton, who, statistically, he has over 1,400 yards rushing right now. He had almost 200 against Clemson alone. And then you have Drake May, who, is going to be, if not the second overall pick, maybe even possibly number 1, if depending on what happens with Caleb Williams. And Caleb hasn't looked that great. Drake May has looked really great. So, it's a conversation piece. Do you really see any shortcomings with the offense? I know because what did UNC lose against Clemson? Wasn't it like 31
to 20?
20 to 31.
So do you see like why only 20?
They fumbled twice inside the 5 in the first quarter. One of them would have been a 66-yard touchdown run. Wiggins made a great play for Clemson, poked it out.
Yeah.
And before that game, those were Amarian Hampton's first 2 fumbles of the season. So that definitely hurt.
Wow.
Other than that, you change that. You're up 14-0 in the first quarter. That might have changed things.
Takes the crowd out of it a little bit.
Clemson would have been done after that,
So that brought them right back into it. You typically see some head scratchers, at least 1 or 2 a game. We're like, what are they doing right now? We going down trying to score at the end of the half. We took a timeout after we got sacked on the 2nd and 18, which left Clemson time to go down and score before the half. So there's a few tweaks and could have been a different result, but that's football. So, but offensively as a whole, like you said, one of the top quarterbacks in the country, the leading rusher, we tied for first in the country. A receiver who I'm surprised isn't getting more hype as a potential top, at least 2nd round pick, in Tez Walker. Tight ends, you got the 2 Nesbitt and Morales have the most touchdowns as a tight end in UNC history. I think they both have 10 career touchdowns. So all the weapons are there.
But not too many. My boy Copenhagen, man, he's my boy.
You would think
he
makes a great. He'll make 1 or 2 like jaw dropping catches every couple weeks. he's just really solid all around. I think he had a broken hand or something wrong with his hand earlier in the season that may have slowed him down some.
Yeah.
But when you look at the whole picture of the offense, you're like, how are they losing games? I mean,
well, it's their defense. I mean, that's how they're
exactly.
losing their games. I
Yep.
mean, looking at the scores, and there's only been twice that you've given up less than 14 points, and only 3 times that you've given up less than 20. So to that point, but back to the offense for me, just looking at stats, and obviously I don't follow them day to day like you do, Will. Just kind of looking at raw numbers, it looks like the pass protection is probably the weakest point of this offense, having given up 28 sacks. Obviously, their run blocking is really solid with Hampton doing his thing, and even Drake. Just I guess kind of where I'm going is they think if they had a better O line and pass protection, what Drake May's numbers could look like, right? And so just kind of talk to me about the pass protection from their.
Yeah, like you said, way too many sacks, which was also an issue with Sam Howell. I think Drake gets the ball out a little better than Sam did, so it's not as much on him as it was possibly on Sam. But sometimes you see guys run through untouched, and we've shifted around some guys. The guy that started the season at left tackle, now Diego Pounds out of Millbrook from Raleigh, is the starter. But I mean, they've been relatively healthy. So it's not like you can point to injuries on the O-line.
Yeah.
But definitely that does impact the game. And a lot of Hampton's runs, he'll make a guy miss. It's not like there's a huge hole for him to run through every time. I mean, there has been times when that happens, but he'll make a guy miss. Kind of reminds us of Javonte Williams, how, you look like you're about to lose 3 yards and he turns into a 60-yard run. So definitely lucky to have him.
Well, and let's put it this way too. Like, I think that and this is not a hate against Amari and Hampton. This is just fact, which is that, I mean, with Drake May being as good as he is, there's no way as a defense you can do anything to try and stop Amari and Hampton, because if you try to stop Amari and Hampton, Drake May will make you pay. Like, you cannot bring one more extra guy into the box because you need every guy you can get to protect the pass. So I mean, I'm just more saying that I think that, that again, that like it just goes to, once again, I think it's a perfect storm right now. If unfortunately for UNC, because I mean, they should have done more with it. And the fact that, with the fact that you have, again, like a perfect situation, we have a really, really good running back and an elite quarterback. This team should be scoring 50 on everybody and not losing much of any games this season. Like honestly.
Yep. I mean, I see it all the time online. I like to post stats, updates on how guys rank, best season in UNC history or where they rank statistically. And you'll see the comments of, well, great, we've wasted our best 2 quarterbacks in school history, blah, 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 all the time. And I'm a sunshine bumper, I'll admit it, but I choose just to focus on the numbers. I'll let people take what they want from it. But
that's
true.
what I always say. That's what I would say. Numbers, you can do whatever you want to do with numbers and paint whatever narrative that you want to paint. But I mean, I get it as a fan, right? Because they're not wrong. We had the stupid meme about Drake May with his record, and then NC State with basically the same record with 5 quarterbacks, right?
Yeah, my coworker sent me that this morning.
Yeah, of course they did. Yeah, if you're a State fan, that thing has been circulating everywhere. Yeah. But just kind of to that point is, we could like we always say, you leave meat on the bone, and it feels like with both Sam Howell and Drake May, you've left a lot of meat on the bone, especially with Drake now.
Now, just imagine if you could combine the defense and special teams State has had. Can you hear me?
I was literally thinking that the first episode.
Yeah, you combine the defense, and I say State. That you can point to the 5 different quarterbacks, but really the defense puts you in great field position 80% of the time. Special teams is going to pin the other team deep, and they're not going to have many sustained drives against that defense without negative plays or State creating a turnover. So their aggressive defense really pays off. And like you guys said, Gibson should have been on the Broyles award list this year. I was shocked he wasn't.
Yeah, it's a travesty. Yeah. But you were talking about special teams, and last year obviously that played a key part in the game. And then again, looking at raw numbers, Carolina is last in the league in net average in punting. And to your point, if you don't have a strong defense and you're not getting a punter that's making them go 80, 90 yards, you're putting a lot more pressure on a defense that already has some cracks in it.
Yeah, we lost our punter against Syracuse when he, I think it was partially blocked. He recovered it, ran 17 yards for a first down, got his face mask bent in, and was out for the year.
Oh,
So
jeez.
that hurt.
Good
But
God.
we've had
Yeah,
a Australian rules punter who's never punted in the game until he took the field, and he's decent. He's good at getting it,
Right.
in the 20-yard line. So he's not gonna have your net average, but he's good, accurate punter.
Yeah.
But we don't have the punters and kickers that you guys have had over the past several years. I mean, Noah Burnett's done awesome this year compared to, how he finished out last year. So I'm really happy for him. He's another Leesville guy, so I'm happy to see.
He leads the league in field goal percentage. So
I wanted to ask, going back to that Duke game, where do you stand on the rush in the field debate? That's a hot topic.
It is. I think everyone loves to talk about it when it's a rival or any situation we like to make everyone else look bad. But senior night, frustrating couple weeks for them to win over your rivals on literally the last play of the game. Why not?
Yeah.
I mean, I walked across the field to leave the stadium, so it was,
use it as a shortcut.
I walked across the field, so it was cool. I mean, everyone's happy to beat Duke in any sport.
It does.
Chess.
It does. Yeah. It does feel like people are on either one extreme or the other. Either you never rush the field ever unless you beat the number one team, or you rush it whenever you want.
Yeah, I mean, I've never really had a strong opinion one way or the other. I don't care who it is. Exciting finish.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Last
got no room
home
to
game
talk.
of the year.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Saw
Michael,
kids doing turf angels on the field. Have fun.
Yeah.
Exactly it.
No. Before we continue, I want to take a quick second to tell you about our sponsor, Flatlands Jessup Insurance Group, that has your whole world covered, with agents in 5 offices throughout eastern North Carolina to help you decide how much coverage you need. Offering policies for home and auto, recreational vehicles, commercial, crop, health, life, and employee benefits. They are able to combine options to find a comprehensive solution that works for you. Flatlands Jessup protects the things you love so you can spend less time worrying and more time enjoying them. Find them on Facebook and Instagram at Flatlands Jessup. You can also visit their webpage at www.flatlandsjessup.com. So please make sure to go and check them out. All right, so let's get into more of kind of the keys to the game now. Focus on the kind of so NC State offense versus defense. I mean, I know with Will, you're kind of an interesting case where you've seen a good amount of NC State games. Because remind me again, you have a cousin who's a walk-on.
Yeah, he's a walk-on DN on the team.
And what's his name?
Andrew Washburn.
All right, yeah.
So out of Mooresville.
Yeah,
shout out
go.
Andrew.
All right. So I know, and I know, just like you said, you were at the State versus Louisville game, and you'll be there also too on Saturday, right?
Yep, I'll be there.
Let's go. All right. So kind of give me when you look at NC State's offense versus UNC's defense, what do you see as the keys in order for NC? Go ahead.
Yeah, every week I like to do 2 keys for offense, 2 keys for defense. I haven't made it yet, but I would say right now you got to not necessarily spy Brennan, but almost just treat him like a running back there. They want to run him, they want to possess the ball, and then have eyes on Casey no matter where he is on the field. You always got to identify him because he's going to be somewhere out wide in a slot in the backfield, quarterback. So you got to know where he is. If I was coaching the defense, I'd have someone in a neon jersey with 10 on it. Just identify him every play because they want to go to him. I was looking at the rushing yards for State this year, and Brennan Armstrong's the leading rusher. The second, Michael Allen just left the team, so you don't know what you're going to get in the backfield, but you know that they want 5 and 10 to have the ball. So
exactly right.
Got to identify those guys. And then,
exactly right.
Ane, that's how you pronounce it, right?
Anai.
He got some hate early in the year for his play calling, but he's very creative and he does a good job of getting guys open in space, especially the tight ends. And tight ends in the flats have killed us all year. Fake out option, have the guy slip out, first down almost every 3rd and short. So, what's 6? I think Penix.
Yeah, Penix.
Yeah, you got it.
He's gonna have some key plays this year or this game. So.
Yeah.
If he was a fantasy tight end, I might start him this week.
Well, it's funny. The last time we did a preview was for the Miami game, and we had Coach Coupon, another YouTube creator for Miami, and he said the exact same thing, saying Miami's got to shut down and they've got to keep an eye on KC, and they weren't able to do it.
No.
So
I think that's the crazy thing, right? Like
everybody
that's
knows.
He's 65% of the offense, probably. I'm just making that number up, but it's probably pretty close to it.
Pretty close, probably. Yeah.
And they still can't stop him. I mean, to your point, Will, like it's kind of the creativeness that Anai has figured out. All right, like you said, line them up everywhere. Run different formations, different looks from different formations. Like it's insane. And Anai has really stepped up. Probably, and this 4-game winning streak again after that Duke game, we've simplified everything and it's just been smooth.
Yep. I mean, he played running back growing up. He actually played with my cousin in the Mighty Might League, and I've heard about him for a long time. So,
yeah.
Well, and is UNC's hopes right now that KC gets pulled away for NIL in the transfer portal? Is that the hope and prayer for UNC fans?
Maybe I could see that being a fan base thing. I like guys staying where they start. Of course, you see. Obviously, we wanted Tez to play, and he didn't stay where he started, but. It's cool to see home guys from the state doing well in state.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Even if it's at a rival school, you like to see guys. I think North Carolina is underrated nationally as a talent-producing state.
I think that's part of the problem too. Is there's so many D1 schools in North Carolina, so they go everywhere. Where Alabama is Alabama, Clemson, in South Carolina, Georgia. There's only Texas, Florida is a little bit convoluted, but to your point. I think that really dilutes the quality of one program in the state of North Carolina.
Absolutely. I mean, you got.
But I would use more of the example of Ohio State and Michigan. I mean, that's
it up there.
The example, because there is. I mean, in Ohio, it's Ohio State. In Michigan, it is Michigan. Like Michigan State can try and make a claim, but no, it's Michigan. Yeah, well, it kind of gives me your kind of another thought as well, which is, I mean, with Amarian Hampton being a guy from Clayton, North Carolina, but I mean, he's going to hit a 1,500 yard mark, whether it's in this game or, in the bowl game, which I mean, if we can hold him to 86 yards, that would be amazing. But I mean, got to give the props. So, but I mean, he's got to get calls in the offseason, right? Like,
I'm sure it's already started.
Oh, for sure.
Exactly.
There's people who just assume he's gone. And I never want to believe that. But,
yeah.
And so I don't want to do a public campaign to say, hey, stay with us. But, you hate to see.
But you almost have to.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's what the rumor is. They raised a lot of money to keep Drake May last year. And
oh, yeah.
I mean, I'd believe it.
Well, just like we said in the live stream, Will, like at the end of the day, even though Drake May is a UNC guy, even though he loves UNC, just like the $1 Million Man said, everybody has a price. And then
exactly.
if Drake May is getting offered $2 million to go play for Alabama, okay, I mean that's going to test it eventually. But so if I gave you a wish list, Will, saying that like I want you to give me a list of players that's like we need to keep these guys for next season.
Hampton number one. Hampton number one. Say, hey Drake, you want another year? That's not going to happen. But
no, you can throw. That's the point where to that point, everyone has a price. That you can't compete with NFL dollars.
No.
I'm sorry.
No.
Well, especially top 2-3 pick overall. Like he's getting $40 million.
That's the last to do that was Andrew Luck, and you could see some similarities in the two, but I just can't see it, especially with all the turnover that could happen. But Hampton won. I mean, Gray's already said he's going to be in the Senior Bowl, the Reese's Senior Bowl, so he must be gone. Power Eccles is another guy. He might be a little undersized for NFL prospects, but don't want to see him leave. But
someone like that someone like that though would probably come back because the NIL money would be better than NFL money, right?
That's one of the great benefits of it. Guys that don't necessarily fit the build.
True.
We had a running back redshirt early in the year because he saw it was stacked against him. George Pettaway. A lot of people think he might leave, and Andre Green's a receiver. They're both Virginia guys that people are a little worried they might leave, but I think they could both be dynamic players in the offense next year. So,
yeah. And then moving on over to the, kind of talking about keys for which I think is going to be like two volcanoes just fighting against one another between the UNC offense and the NC State defense. Arguably the best offense in the ACC versus arguably the best defense in the ACC. Which when I say arguably, I'm saying you're gonna have a tough time convincing me there's a better offense or a better defense in the ACC.
Yeah.
In the ACC, let's put it that way. You're the keys there, man. Just watch the fireworks go off between each other, man. I mean, that's kind of where I'm at with this game.
I think you got to pound. If I'm calling the plays, I'm pounding Amarian until he gets stopped. They have a tendency to get away from the run. It feels like he had way too few second half carries against Virginia Tech. But
do you blame that too much though? I mean, you're putting.
It's hard
you're
not
saying I'm putting the ball in Drake May's hands.
Exactly. But you start to feel a panic, and it's like we need Drake to make a play when you have the leading rusher in the country. But if you
again, you can run that ball and let your defense rest, right? If that seems to be your MO that you say they keep getting worn out, like take advantage of, and then put the ball in 10. Drake May's 10, right?
Yeah, he's 10.
He's number 10. Yeah, put the ball in number 10's hand and make a play. 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4, whatever it is. Because if you got a running back, he's got to go get you 4 or 5 yards every dang carry. You're going to be on schedule, and then the playbook opens wide open.
And I think back to 2 years ago, the best way to slow down a rush or a blitz is to run through it. And 2 years
we caught
ago,
Virginia Tech in that.
British Brooks had a great game against you guys 2 years ago, and it was delayed handoffs. So your guys would get upfield, a lane would open up, pick your hole, and go. Now, I don't know if that'll be successful every time, but and then also you guys are a little younger this year, so misdirection. They're fast, but if they're fast going the wrong way, they're just more out of position. So if we can catch you guys a couple times, get a few explosive plays.
We gave up a big run on a reverse against Virginia Tech. That very same thing. We got upfield and didn't hold contain on the edge, and that's happened a couple of times this year where we've given up big runs because of not containing on the edge.
Yeah. And like you guys used Thayer to throw the ball in reverses. We tried one with Caleb Hood, who played quarterback at Richmond last week, and he smartly threw it away. But they've shown some wrinkles, some trick plays. They love reverses with Tez just because of his speed. So I think, in rivalry games, you don't hold anything back. Trick plays we're going to go for it on fourth down. They'll be aggressive. So
last game of season 2, you don't have to hide anything.
Exactly.
Well, and we're kind of moving into the game predictions here piece to it. The one thing which I thought of driving, we went to our wedding in Louisville, Kentucky, and we were driving to the airport, and we were talking about this game. And the first thing I thought of is, like, if I'm saying this to you, and I'm saying this to UNC fans, you better not lose this game. Like in terms of like expectation wise, let's be real. I mean, like this should be a year that UNC finally gets it, because again, we had the comeback in 2021. We had the game last year where we got one over on Drake with our third string quarterback, and now we're in a what some say a quote unquote rebuild year. We're missing a lot of pieces on offense. We're saying, all right, we're going to ride our defense, get what we can. We went into the season with the over under of 6 total wins. We're already at 8. And, UNC college football playoff talks, top 10, Drake May, this should be a game where UNC finally gets it. Like in my opinion, as crazy as say, I think if you're State, you have a lot to gain, not really much to lose in this game, really. Like if I'm State, as long as we don't get blown out, I'm saying, hey, 8-4 wins over Clemson, Miami, beating at Wake Forest and Virginia Tech. I mean, losing to Drake May, we beat them 2 times. I can live with it. But if you're UNC, you can't lose this game. It's
going to be ugly online if it does. If we do.
Yeah.
And then I tweeted.
That would be 3 in a row.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We started off strong with Mac, and then we lost the last 2. But I said yesterday, if you would have told everyone or State fans a month ago when we were 6-0 and y'all were 4-3 that we'd have the same record, I think we'd both laugh and say, yeah, right. But here we are. So
here we are.
Sure.
And y'all are rolling right now, and we're kind of crawling to the finish line.
It's going the opposite directions to get there.
Yeah.
So, but it was kind of like that way last year a little bit too.
Yeah. And that's what concerns me.
Yeah. So Greg, let's get into it here. So game predictions, man, score predictions. So just as a kind of reminder, a little bit, if I can pull up the spread here real quick. State UNC opened as a 2.5 point favorite, and right now it's moved up to 3. So right now UNC is a 3 point favorite. The over or under right now is at 55. And the total opened at 54.5. So only moved from 54.5 to 55. So not much movement on the spread or the over under. So with that being said, so just if I could do the math real quick. So 27. So give or take a 25 to 28 win is basically 28-25 wins to the UNC is what Vegas is predicting. So, all right, Greg, give us your score prediction, man.
Yeah, so look, I've been hammering 24 all year, right? I mean, 24 is the magic number for NC State. We're 6-1 when we score 24 points or more, and we're 1-2 when we don't. Now, if we score 24 in this game, I'm not sure that's still not enough because of Carolina's offense. Carolina puts up about 38 points a game. So I don't know if we've only gotten to that number a couple of times, and it wasn't against most quality, though we did put up 35 against Virginia Tech. So I'm getting long-winded here, but I can't pick against State at home on a Saturday night in Carter Finley.
Exactly. And we're so hot right now.
Right.
Exactly.
I think 28-24 State wins.
Well, and just to kind of piggyback off that, because I'm really in the same boat, is that I'm really sitting here saying I think UNC's set up in terms of to finally get one over on us, just because of the fact that there is a grit factor. And also, too, there's the fact that, the defense is going to go into this game a little bit pissed off because, they gave up 28 points to Virginia Tech when they shouldn't have. But also, too, UNC just scored 20 points when they know they, just like you said, Will, they left live points on the field. So I think they're going to come into this game a little bit pissed off trying to make up for it, too. So I'm literally sitting here saying I have no idea who's going to win this game.
Agreed.
I don't have a clue.
Me neither.
I think it's going to be a great game. I have no clue. So I'm going to say I'm kind of thinking the same boat too, like 28-24, but I don't want to say copy because you already got it. So I'll say
31-28. There it is. Give it there.
31-28. 31-28. Yeah, sure. I like it. But again, like NC State, but I wouldn't be surprised if UNC wins. Let's put it that way. Will, what you got for us here?
I've been trying to think up this whole time. I'm not great at score predictions.
I'm usually not either.
I always make my final score graphic and then just adjust it as the game goes. But if I were to make it right now, I'll say 34-28 UNC. I think y'all beat us by 6 last year, right?
Yeah.
I think I predicted
by
3.
By
That's
3.
right.
27.
Field goal. Three
Right.
field goal.
Yeah.
That's right. I'll say 34-28 with like 4% confidence. Who knows?
And that score was high. That score was high last year, but it was 2 overtimes, right? Like it wasn't,
I think it was 24-24 at the end of regulation.
Correct. Yeah. Each team got a touchdown in the first overtime, and then we got the field goal in the second, and they missed.
Right. Yeah. It is really kind of funny because, again, just like you said, Will, if you'd asked us a month ago, I would have said, 45-7. UNC, like, and then now I'm sitting here going,
it did not look good.
We're really, really hot. UNC is really, really rough right now, but also too, UNC could turn it on just like that. And there's a grit factor. It's a rivalry game. Alabama should crush Auburn 100 million to nothing, but we all know it's not going to. It's going to be a good game between Alabama and Auburn because why? Because it's a rivalry game.
Yep.
Same thing here. It's going to be a rivalry game. So who knows? Just buckle up and. It's going to be a heck of a game.
Buckle that chin strap extra tight.
I'm looking forward to being in Carter Finley for it. So
Peyton Wilson versus Drake May. I am here for it. That's going to be a good one. Michael, what you got here? Score prediction, man.
Yeah, you guys, everything you guys said. I think it's going to be a one possession game either way.
It's going to be a good game.
And like Greg, I can't pick against State in this game unless it's literally like a 0-9 or a 0-11 team.
Nope, still wouldn't do it. I would pick against State in any game other than Carolina.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, and again, and I really do want to kind of commit once again that I think we're all saying we can't pick it against State, not because we are NC State fans, but just because of the fact, again, we are on a 4-game winning streak.
And it's Carolina.
Yeah, just because
at night in Carter Finley Stadium, like
senior night.
I can't. senior nights, like Peyton Wilson's senior night. You think that Peyton Wilson's not going to have this team pissed off saying, I am not losing my last game to UNC. It is not happening. Like, but I also think I would hope for UNC's sake that Drake May is saying the same thing on his side too. So
probably
either way, we're all in the same boat. We have no predictions whatsoever. Just buckle up. Let's enjoy this thing. It's going to be a great one.
Michael, what's your number?
I'll go 27-24 State.
Okay. Yeah. So we're all in the same general boat. So right around what Vegas has, which makes sense. All right, y'all. So first of all, got to give a shout out to everybody once again to please go give our guy Will at Great Day Tar Heel a follow, man. A great follow for sure. Even though it's UNC side, I think he does
He's
an
rational
amazing job of keeping it passionable but level-headed, you know. So make sure to go give him a follow at Great Day Tar Heel on Twitter. Are you on Instagram as well, Will?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So Great Day Tar Heel on Instagram as well. Any other places that they can go check you out, Will?
Mainly there. I have Threads, but I don't use it very often.
Okay, cool. Anyway, y'all, and then for our end, y'all, make sure again, if you haven't already, again, hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell so that way you're notified on all your devices whenever you go live. And actually, Will, I forgot about one last thing too. You and we also too have a little bit of a bet.
Oh yeah,
that we
that's
also
right.
do have standing.
Don't feel so good about it now,
too.
but
well, yeah, I'm sure when you made those, you're like, oh man, this is gonna be so good to get on them.
Never know.
So just as a kind of a little bit of a heads up, we'll post about this as well, but just for YouTube perspective. So Will went ahead and created a UNC colored version of the Tuffy Talk logo, and then he also created an NC State version of the Great Day Tar Heel logo. So whichever of us loses, then we have to use that logo for the upcoming week, correct? Okay.
Works for me.
That's fair. All righty. So looking forward to it. We shuck on that. It's locked in, and it'll be a good time, y'all. So thank you all so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed this conversation, hit that like button and give us a follow, Tuffy Talk now on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, y'all. But thank you all so much for tuning in. Go Pack, y'all, and beat UNC.
Beat UNC. Let's go.